I'm not okay. I've been trying to hide it, trying to stay strong, trying to keep going like nothing's wrong. But you see everything, so here I am. God, I'm not okay right now. Every step feels a little heavy. Every breath feels hard to take. I've been smiling on the outside, while my heart begins to break. I don't have the words to say. I don't know how to explain all the way I've been carrying, all this hidden pain. I'm not okay right now. I'm barely holding on,
When will the listeners listen?
but I still believe somehow
When
you won't
will the
leave me
influencers
here alone.
hear what a human soul has to say?
But I'm reaching out to you
You would think
in the middle of my
when you go to a church, especially here in the Middle East, that automatically thinks that you're Muslim because they are threatened
and if this
by the
song,
Muslim community or
if
some of
this
them.
message is touching your heart right now,
You would think
I want to invite you to be part of this mission. Support this channel.
that my mission for God
Share this message with others.
that he had talked to me about in Hawaii on a rock
Like this.
as I'm watching the whales flap their
Find the strength to keep going.
fins to the ocean,
God,
and the mothers bringing their whales to Hawaii because of the warm waters. Now, those fish listen to each other even if they don't talk. The whales will talk from one side of the ocean to the other, to each other. But human beings will not stop to listen to another human being and about what their mission for life is. They are sitting in their own existence and the footsteps that they took. But communication can never be clear because they don't know what my intentions are or the other person that they're talking to and what footsteps they took to get to that point. So I'm not okay. I'm not okay with someone that cannot sit and hear my story, but they will sit and assume that they know everything about me. I can't sit here and wait for some other influencer that can help me with my mission for God
and tears fall without warning.
to bring clarity to a road that it's broken. So when you talk to somebody and it's not really clear what you're talking about because they are not sitting in the seat that you're in. They're sitting in another seat of their world and where they're headed. But when God talks to you and talks through others, you should listen. You should take the time out of your day. I came here with a mission for God. I went to a bank, and I'm not mentioning no names, to open up a merchant's account to get offerings through my account. I asked the manager for 2 minutes of her time. She said, "Sit down." I sat down. I tried to explain to her that I needed an application so she could know more about me the next time I come in to open that account. She was so busy on her computer that she did not take the time, the 2 minutes that I asked for, to bring clarity of what I needed. It was just 2 minutes. I need an application. She said, "No, you don't. You bring in your number and that's all you need." Well, if I just bring in my number of my LLC and that's all she needs, what about my name? What about my history? What about where I came from and who I am? That should be on the application.
Because someone out there tonight needs to hear this.
Over here in the Holy Land,
And no matter what they face,
it's
God is still with them.
take,
And He is
and
still
not give. Not listen.
looking back.
After 1.5 minutes of talking to her, she stood up. She said, "I thought this was only going to take 2 minutes." And as a professional banker, you would think she would have served coffee like they do here in the Middle East and get to know me a little bit and who I am and what I'm doing. But she thought I was just needing a Corona loan. And that was it. Well, after she told me I thought this was only going to take 2 minutes, I stood up and I did what Jesus would do. I walked out. She sent 2 people after me through the mall as I am walking fast trying to get out of there to get some air. Yeah, outside of the bank, outside of the mall. So I don't want to bank with that bank anymore because that bank is not listening. It's not loving. It's not bringing clarity in a very professional business matter. She was busy doing something else, God only knows what, maybe her next date, chatting online, and she wanted to get rid of me. If I was her, I would have sat with that person and find out what their financial status is and what they're trying to do, instead of just asking me for a number to get or not get. I went to another bank in Fajes to put them through the test. I asked for a $10,000 loan, and even though I have a building here collecting rent, she went and talked to her supervisor and said, "No, he can't have it." Even though I had $20,000 in my backpack, didn't really need the money, I wanted to see what the bank would do. She didn't even take an application. She didn't look me up. She didn't do any research. She just said no. That's the way humans here in the Middle East work and think. They don't have a pure business plan from beginning to the end and everything in between. They just have a donkey and they don't know how to ride it. So 2 years now, I have stood on top of every rooftop lip syncing. The reason I lip sync, the story begins here and now. In 1967, without a father here, because my father is in the United States working 11 months out of the year, and I only see him once a year. I cry when he comes, and I cry when he leaves. 2 cries in 1 month. 1967, I stood on top of the mountain as Iraq, Iran, and Israel were throwing bombs at each other. And at night, with my donkey standing by my side as 5-year-old child, I stood up and I put my hand up and I swore to God, when I grow up, I will do something about this. 3 months later, I saw Jesus Christ at the end of my bed in Forges, and I just trying to scream and nothing was coming out. There was 4 other people in the same bedroom. I guess Jesus didn't want to wake them up, but I saw him. I saw him. Think I'm crazy? That came all the way from 1967. 3 months after that, St. George's tomb is right across from our mountain. I rode on his horse throughout all Forges, and he landed me right back to my balcony in a vision. I don't know what's a vision, if it was true or what. It was a spiritual moment. So, I go to the United States. I lose my Arabic after 50 years. I have been through one thing and another with this mission, how God put me to this spot. God works on all of us in different kind of timing. The story's so huge, but I'm going to try to summarize it for you. I got married, have 2 boys. I worked day and night, different jobs. I have 2 granddaughters, Azara Star, Swiss, and Elijah Sky, Swiss, and they reside in California now. My 2 angels. My 2 angels. I wish I could talk to them more, but kids are a little busy in their little worlds right now. So, anyway, after all the work I've done, I had a bone in my neck that was deteriorating, and they had to put a stent in it. I've had neuropathy ever since. 14 years on morphine for my pain. Well, it stopped working. I was in North Highlands, all alone in my house, because I'm divorced.
And this feels too familiar.
And I put my hands up in the air in my bed, and I said, God, take me or turn me to dust. I didn't want to live anymore. The pain is too great.
He hears the prayers we cannot even say out loud.
So I woke up in the morning, went to the backyard, had my coffee, hearing the birds chirp and the clouds, so beautiful, and I'm praying to God, as I always do. I hear a voice saying, go help your Muslim brothers and sisters. I listen to God. I listen to God. You may not know how God works. Maybe you do. I wish you would tell me your thoughts about God and how God works. The church right there, I have been wanting to go back in there. I just can't seem to get my foot in the door. I went there last week with one of my IM bags in my business. I walked halfway through the steps and found someone that could speak English. I told him to give the bag to the supervisor and have him come meet me at my house. my house. Clean, clear, loving prayers. Jesus Christ by my side. My shofar that has a whole big old story. That painting of Jesus Christ and the angels. My story from Bethlehem last month, which God showed me right next to his birth church in Bethlehem of how Muslims and Christians are. He had walked me through so many different places. Anyway, when I heard that voice, go help your Muslim brothers and sisters, excuse me. My friend in Hawaii, I told him about it, and he said, lock up the door in North Highlands and come to Hawaii. I went there and I sat on that rock for 7 years, talking to God. Before I put my foot on the airplane when I went back after 7 years to Sacramento, I hear a voice saying, go tell Benjamin Netanyahu, don't sacrifice what you don't have. And when God tells you something, you get up and do it. So I went to the Israeli embassy in San Francisco. They look at my ID, they say, you're Jordanian. I said, yes, I am. They said, who gave you your Israeli name, Ezra? I did another turn and walked away. I had a letter from Benjamin Netanyahu. Don't sacrifice what you don't have. So I went all the way to Israel 3 weeks later to give that letter to Benjamin Netanyahu. I went with my sister. I crossed the borders. I got there. We got in a hotel. We went to a little diner outside, and this lady walks out with her child in a stroller. She asked what we're doing here, blah, blah, blah. And her grandmother sat next to us. And she said, we told her that I'm here to give a letter to Benjamin Netanyahu. She said, wow, I just sat first class with Sarah Netanyahu on the way back over here just right now. I'm thinking, what a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence. I believe that God puts us in different places. So they invited us to give us a tour of Israel, the wall, and everything else. And I held the grandmother's hand as we are walking through the Holy Land of Jerusalem. So I went. We went back home, back to the hotel. The next day, they called us, and we met at where they sell fruits. There's a big shops. They have everything there. It was wonderful. So the mother that we met with the child at the restaurant, her brother was in the military. He met us over there, and we sat down and had dinner, and his first thing out of his mouth is, what are you doing here? So now I'm thinking, okay, I told him, I said, I'm on a mission for God. So the following day, I go on an Uber to the Israeli military section where Benjamin Netanyahu's office is. And this cab driver thought he was being funny. He took me into the back. I guess he couldn't go in the front. We said, go to that gate. And he looked at the gate and he goes, that gate has never, ever, ever been open. And it had a rusted lock, and it was a black gate, and it was wide open. I walked through there with my suit and tie and my letter. I go to their office, and there's 2 machine guns there waiting for me. So I go in there. They asked me if I had a gun. I opened up my suit, and I said, nope, no gun. They said, what do you want? I said, I have a letter for Benjamin Netanyahu. They said, okay, give me the letter. They took the letter, they scanned it, and they said, no, we cannot take your letter. You're going to have to send it to this address. So I went and expedited it to an address. You would think they would want to know what's in a letter. I had it open, it wasn't sealed. Something. So I expedited it, and we went back home, went to the Holy Sepulchre. My sister and I walk in there, I do my prayers, I kiss every part, I light my candles. And I am sitting there with my hoodie, sitting there next to where Jesus Christ was buried. And I was weeping. It's like the Holy Spirit was inside me. So I look up, and I look to the left, and it appeared out of nowhere with smoke behind it. Boom, 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 boom. Jesus Christ. And he looked to the right, and all of a sudden I appeared on the cross. I was on the cross right next to Jesus Christ. So I get up. My sister comes trying to touch me to get me going. I said, don't touch me. Don't touch me. I could not be touched. So I get up, and I see a priest as I was going to get back in line to go see and pray where Jesus was buried. The priest just opened his eyes like that and looked at me. No word, no nothing. It's like I was a ghost. So I go around, and we left. Before I could close the door in the hotel room, I looked at my sister and I said, I have to go back. I have to go back. She goes, go. I ran to get that feeling again. So, right where Mother Mary and Jesus Christ, big, huge portraits, I looked, and the guy that was standing there with opening the rope, I did not have to say a word. He had it open. And I went in there and I prayed like a Muslim. I was on the ground, kissing the ground. So, with that said, a guy came to me and he touched my shoulder and he goes, come with me. It's like an angel. And he took me to every single place, every single station in that place. And I kneeled and I said the Lord's Prayer on every single section. So I left. I went to my hotel room. I opened up my laptop, and the camera light on my laptop was green. And I looked at it. I've never used my camera on my laptop. I told my sister to look. and I shut it. I went to the window and there's 5 SUVs taking off from my hotel area. So the next day we ended up leaving, and I got to Jordan border and I told my cousin what happened. He goes, "You are going to sacrifice." I've been sacrificing ever since. I gave myself to Jesus Christ. I told God to take my soul and lock it up in heaven until I get there. Sorry. So sorry. My mission from God is clear. In Tennessee, I asked God 1 second before I go further, when I was kneeling where Jesus Christ was laid to rest in the Holy Sepulchre, and I prayed on my knees. I got up and I hit myself on the mountain, and it bled. So my blood is there. It's at the Holy Sepulchre. When I was in Tennessee, when we went back, and I'm struggling with my faith, I'm struggling with these visions, I'm struggling. I was by my bedroom outside with all the greenery and everything. I'm praising God. And I told him, I said, if you really want me to do this, and here I am challenging my Jesus Christ. Said, kick me in the ass. Kick me in the ass, please. Please, I need to know. So 3 days later, I woke up in the morning and something hit me. I rolled out of bed and I've never fell out of bed in my life. I hit my head on the wooden floor in the same spot. I bled again. I went to the bathroom to see, and I said, this is it. This is it. This is it. I got what I needed. So, I was in the hot tub the next couple of days later in the backyard in Tennessee, and I get up, and I was in a vision. This vision was Jesus Christ and I were standing on water. He took me by the hips and flew me up to heaven. I ended up in a chair, a cloudy chair in a white room. Everything was white around me. I'm thinking, what am I doing here? Well, before you know it, I am shot up to the universe. And I see in this big, cloudy area, kings and queens and diamonds and rubies and emeralds on their crowns. And they're all there in the big, huge white throne in the middle. And all of a sudden, a cloud appeared with electricity inside it. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm sitting in my cloudy chair. And with no voice, no talk, no nothing, I hear a voice saying in my head, go build my tabernacle in gold. Did God choose me to do this? Do you believe in the Bible, in Daniel, in any of the disciples? Do you believe in Jesus Christ? If you do, you have to believe that I've gone through all of this. Do I dare go back to the church, the ones that put Jesus Christ on the cross? They're the ones, and it's clear that they did. And I seriously feel right this second, if they had a chance to slap me on the cross too, I really do. I do believe that they would put me on a cross It put me in jail, thinking I'm crazy. Yeah. Think if that would happen to you, and God talked to you by doing something, what would you do? What would you do? I feel alone. Before I came here to Tennessee, I texted my people in Flajes, not saying no names, and I told, in Gaza happened and the kids were slaughtered. I said I'm coming to do a candlelight ritual in the Greek Orthodox Church. And they said, you come, they will kill you. I'm thinking, really? To do a candlelight ritual for these kids in Greek Orthodox Church? They'll kill me? I feel that there's so much sin in Flajes. It's not funny. That's why God brought me here. Dig into my background. See who I am. You're only going to find God. That's who I am. God is in me, and he's moving me. And if you as a delegate or a person, or whoever's hearing this, can't feel what's inside of me, which is God, then maybe you're the corrupt.
God,
that can't open your mind to a different kind of dialogue, to a different kind of existence. Yeah, you want to call it crazy? Then you call the 12 disciples and Jesus Christ crazy.
God, I'm not okay right now.
I'm not okay when we have ignorancy here and people that cannot listen to the word of God. All they can do here is listen to the God of money.
Every breath feels hard to take. I've been smiling on the outside.
Breathe God in. Breathe him in. Because I don't care if you're Orthodox, if you're Muslim, if you're Catholic, if you're Baptist, whatever you are a part of God, and he gave you free will. So, if you could take that free will and fly with it, with every step that you take every day, God, I'm not okay right now. Not with the ignorancy and the corruption, even through the church. Yeah, everybody knows that. Seen so much happen. Priests that were molesting children. Yeah, then we sit here and we talk about the Muslims. Well, there's good and bad in each one of us. How do we clear this up? We have to love with all of our hearts. Even the devil. The ones that don't want love will stay away. It's like shooting alcohol on a fly. They don't know what love is, but we have to be the ones that teach them. That's why Jesus came down here, to teach us. But we slapped him on a cross because we wanted control.
Someone tonight is feeling exactly like this.
It's as plain as day.
Someone tonight is trying to find the strength to keep going. And maybe
I've talked for almost 35 minutes here.
God,
Anybody else wants to talk to me about what God puts in me? Please come.
looking back, I see your
If you don't want any part of this, please stay away. If you're not going to help me with my mission for God, the way everybody tried to detour me because of the mentality that is over here, the coffee and smoking and talking about it business without thinking about what's in your backyard and how you have hurt too. So, if the churches are not going to listen and stay in their own money existence, then I am going to open my own church and watch me, Ezra, John Swiss, pull everybody out of every church here. I will use every part of my existence and churches that will listen in the United States and pull everybody out of every single church until you can find out how I want to praise God in the church with dialogue, love for one another. Because right now I'm not seeing in the church. All I'm seeing is a big show to get money in and meetings about money. With that said, come visit. Have a beautiful office. Angels help me put it together. Creativity. Asked God how I should start this. He said art. Because God is art. He is art. He made us. We are part of God's art. So, I am going to sell art all day long and help people with that art. That is my focus. And the art of music and dancing, because I want to dance with God all day long. Yeah, God is my drug. He is my heroin. He is my cocaine, and He is my Vogelwasser. Yeah. So, until then, peace be with you and your family, and love them all the day long. Don't rush home and just trying to kick the dog, because love will prevail. Love will be our ending if we allow it to be. Stay in God's storm. Stay away from all of this news, because half of it is not right. It's about what the government wants, power and money. So when we can fix that, we'll prevail. And the only way to do it is with love. Hope to see everybody soon. I hope you offer whatever you can, your services, volunteer, and be part of God's mission. Because that's all I want. Nothing else. Your offerings will help me get through to the people that need help from us and from God. I love you. Talk soon. Have a beautiful, beautiful day with lots of flowers. Bye now.